My father was drowning in debt. The loan sharks took notice of me and suggested I sell myself to settle his debts. Seeing the flicker of hope in my father's eyes, I shakily dialed my college roommate Justin, the guy who'd openly lusted after me for years. "Justin," I whispered, "can you lend me some money?" His laugh crackled through the phone. "Lazy and dangerous. Evan, you know there's no such thing as free lunch." The thugs showed up again. This time they caught my father, forcing him to his knees in our stripped bare living room. They'd already taken everything of value, leaving us $25,000 short. My father's gambling addiction had destroyed our family years ago. My mother left him, his get-rich-quick schemes failed, and now we were here. Jack, the ringleader with snake tattoos coiling around his scarred arms, spun a butterfly knife carelessly. His boot slammed onto our last remaining chair. 25 grand, old man, he sneered. No more delays, or I'll take your hands as interest. My father sobbed into the floorboards. Please, Jack, just a few more days. Days? Jack's laugh cut like his blade. You'd flee the country given hours. His gaze crawled over me like tar. But your boy's pretty enough to work off your debt. Hell, I'd pay 2 grand just to break him in myself. The implication hung thick. My father turned to me with wet, expectant eyes, waiting for me to volunteer so he could pretend reluctance. As the thugs advanced, I blurted, "I can get the money." My shaking fingers found Justin's number again. We hadn't spoken since that explosive fight in campus bathrooms over a year ago. I'd been desperate then too. Job rejections piling up, Justin's relentless teasing pushing me over the edge. When I'd swung at him, he'd pinned me against urinals with terrifying ease. "Evan," he'd growled, my blood smearing his split lip. "If I didn't want to fuck you so badly, I'd fucking kill you for that." His mouth crashed against mine, all teeth and fury. I still remember the burn of his hands under my shirt, the cold porcelain digging into my back, the way he'd frozen when hot tears spilled down my cheeks. He'd chain-smoked 3 cigarettes before speaking again. Christ, was kissing me that terrible? When I didn't answer, he'd slammed the stall door hard enough to crack the frame. We never mentioned it again. Now the phone rang once, twice. Justin's voice poured through, honey laced with arsenic. "Miss me, sweetheart?" "Justin, can you lend me some money?" Justin remained silent as seconds ticked by. The eager vultures surrounding us would pounce the moment I got rejected. Cold sweat dripped down my spine just imagining it. Just when I thought he'd refuse, Justin chuckled lowly. "Evan," he drawled, "what can you offer in return?" I moistened my lips. "Higher interest than banks." His derisive snort carried through the phone. "You know what I want, Evan. Money means nothing here. You could default entirely, but I'll take my payment in flesh. Are you prepared to go that far? I do hate coercion." The weighted pause stretched. One predator versus many, the choice was obvious. At least Justin wasn't diseased. Swallowing hard, I whispered, "Okay." His pleased laughter vibrated against my ear. "Funds are transferring now. My people will collect you in 2 days. Pack light, Evan." His voice turned dangerous. "Don't make me hunt you. I won't run." We both knew escape was impossible. True to his word, Taylor Family Associates arrived punctually. As I zipped my suitcase, my father grabbed my wrist. "Since when do you rub shoulders with billionaires? Get more cash." Last night's dream. I'll win big this time. I wrenched free with a disgusted laugh. After college, I'd built a decent life in New York until the vegetative state scam dragged me back. The bastard stole my savings for gambling debts. 20 years of believing in redemption, destroyed in a single drunken betrayal. Without sparing him a glance, I slid into the black sedan. Let the old fool dig his own grave. The bodyguards delivered me to the gated estate. Justin lounged on the sectional watching reality TV, barely glancing up when I entered. "Thank you," I began sincerely, approaching him. He appraised me like a cut of meat before yanking me between his spread knees. "Gratitude's unnecessary," he purred, his palm skating up my shirt. "This is transactional." I stiffened at his touch. "Scared?" His fingers paused. "Never done this. With men?" At my nod, His gaze sharpened. Women? No one. His arm locked like a steel trap around my waist. Turning my face toward him, Justin searched my expression before smiling faintly. The TV flickered to a pornographic scene, two men entangled. Pay attention. He murmured against my neck, his hands roaming. Learn properly. Choking down nausea. I stared at the screen as icy dread spread through my veins. The television screen suddenly went black. Justin reached out to touch my face, his voice soft as he asked, "Feeling nauseous?" I whispered back, "No." I didn't dare provoke Justin's anger. If he took back that $250, 000, I'd be ruined. His gaze turned icy before he inexplicably chuckled. His fingers hooked around my belt, his thumb wedging between my waistband and belt. Cold sweat trickled down my temple as I mentally chanted, "Just endure this. Close your eyes and it'll be over soon." Yet despite my self-pep talk, my face drained of color. Just as I reached my limit, Justin withdrew his hand, studying me with detached indifference. "Evan, when did you learn to lie to me?" I pressed my lips shut. There'd been a time when I'd treated Justin with unvarnished bluntness, back when I'd known he carried a torch for me. That audacity had even led me to lure him into a school bathroom for a beating. But now there was a $250,000 debt hanging over me like a guillotine. Pride had become an unaffordable luxury. Lowering my eyes into what I hoped resembled contrition, I murmured, "I'm sorry." The apology only thickened the suffocating tension between us. Justin lit a cigarette with jerky movements, the smoke coiling around his furrowed brows as he chain-smoked in heavy silence. When the last ember died in the ashtray, he finally spoke, "I told you, I don't believe in coercion. If sharing my bed repulses you, become my personal assistant instead. 20 grand monthly, housing and meals included." His stare burned through me, dark undercurrents swirling beneath. "Keep whatever you earn. The debt stays with me. We'll sign a 1-year contract. If you still can't stomach me by then, walk away free." It was an absurdly generous offer, almost self-sabotage. But I knew my own truth. Men would never stir anything in me. My sexual orientation was set in stone. Justin couldn't win this gamble. Our eyes locked across the smoke-hazed room. He'd lit another cigarette, the haze obscuring his expression. Clutching fistfuls of my shirt, I forced out the hard truth. Justin's lips curved as he ruffled my hair, amusement coloring his voice. "That's my problem to solve. Your only concern is whether to accept." The contract materialized that same night. After signing, the housekeeper showed me to a guest suite. Since then, I'd been living under Justin's roof, sharing meals, rides to his corporate empire. At the office, his chief assistant handled task delegation, maintaining strict professionalism between us. But evenings unveiled a different Justin, one who incrementally tested my boundaries. First hand holding, then embraces, now sharing his king-sized bed. A month's progress, yet I still recoiled when his lips neared mine. Even casual kisses triggered visceral revulsion. Despite our history, true to his word, Justin never pushed. The moment I showed discomfort, he'd immediately back off. Tonight marked another failed attempt. My throat still constricted whenever he leaned in. He didn't know about the scars. Middle school had been hell. Late puberty left me with a boyish voice while my gambling father squandered every penny, leaving our fridge perpetually empty. Malnutrition sculpted me delicate, a walking target. Faggot became my classroom name. By high school, I developed full-blown androphobia, a biological male repulsed by his own kind. Justin's confession of feelings had nearly made me vomit. Lying beside his sleeping form, I studied Justin objectively. Chiseled features, aristocratic nose, he belonged on magazine covers. Had he never developed those feelings, we might have remained lifelong friends. Our friendship hadn't always been this fractured. Childhood bullying made me avoid male companionship, keeping even roommates at arm's length. Our paths first crossed at the dive bar where I worked. Justin, then a trust fund kid burning cash on luxury condos, had been partying with fellow heirs when chaos erupted. Some jilted boyfriend stormed in wielding a meat cleaver. As the blade swung toward Justin, I'd instinctively blocked it with my serving tray. As for why I helped him, it was because those rich kids started harassing me when I delivered drinks, and Justin stopped them. I didn't know if he recognized me as his classmate, but it didn't matter. He helped me once, so I returned the favor. I hate owing people. What I thought would be a brief encounter turned into Justin constantly appearing around me. He even replaced my original roommate to share the dorm with me. He treated me well, buying meals, celebrating my birthday, helping me socialize. Gradually, I considered him my only male friend. Everything changed when I accidentally heard him say he liked me. My stomach churned with disgust. The same nausea I felt when those bullies circled me, sneering sissy and worthless freak. I immediately cut ties with Justin, later treating him horribly. Yet no matter how cruel or mocking I became, he kept pursuing me. I couldn't understand why Justin, scion of the Taylor family, would fancy someone like me. In this glittering metropolis, I was invisible, my decent grades meaningless among geniuses. Was it because I'd accidentally saved him once? That was just suspension bridge effect. Years had passed, he should have moved on. I drifted to sleep thinking these thoughts, waking to Justin cooking breakfast. Since moving here, he'd prepared every meal himself. His culinary skills matched my tastes perfectly. I knew he'd practiced deliberately. Back in college, he'd rented an apartment just to learn cooking for me, though I never tasted his efforts. On weekends, Justin usually stayed home or watched movies downstairs. But today after breakfast, he stopped me. Change clothes. We're going out. Where? I asked suspiciously. You'll see. He evaded. The amusement park entrance made everything clear. I whirled around. You dug up my time capsule. At graduation, our class buried wishes to unearth in 10 years. Caught in the moment, I'd written visit an amusement park, like some naive child. Justin looked utterly out of place here, confirming my suspicion. He chuckled unrepentantly. Dug it up right after you left. Soil was still loose. That's invading privacy. I snapped. Wishes aren't just for self-fulfillment. He countered smoothly. If you feel indebted, help me with mine. What wish? I demanded. His gaze deepened before he shrugged. Secret. Since when do secrets not apply to you? I retorted. Justin stuffed cotton candy in my mouth, murmuring, I'll tell you when the time comes. Jerk. Like I care. I'd never been to an amusement park. Before gambling ruined him, my father promised we'd go. Poverty made even adulthood's earnings feel too precious for such luxuries. Enjoyment felt sinful. Yet here I stood, wish granted on an ordinary day, sweating through queues under blazing sun, waiting for rides I'd outgrown. The magic had faded. I'd rather nap than ride roller coasters. Some desires expire. Still, watching Justin across the Ferris wheel gondola, I meant it when I said, thank you. He waved dismissively, golden sunlight glinting off his carefree smile. Thank you. He leaned back casually. If you have other wishes, tell me. I can make them all happen. My throat tightened as I swallowed hard. Justin, why do you like me? The heir of the Taylor family sat up straighter, eyes gleaming. Want the truth? I nodded. Because you're untainted. At my confused look, he traced my cheekbone. These eyes, I've never seen such clarity in any adult. No hidden agendas, no schemes, just light. His thumb brushed my lower lip. My world's full of social climbers and two-faced snakes. That night at the club, you were different. When that lunatic charged at me with a knife, a bitter laugh escaped him. I could have disarmed him in 3 moves. But you, his voice cracked. You threw yourself in front of me, trembling like a leaf yet refusing to budge. Know what I thought in that moment? Heat flooded my cheeks. Actually, Justin's breath warmed my ear as he whispered something scandalous involving handcuffs and his penthouse balcony. You're impossible. From that second, couldn't get you out of my head. His knuckles whitened around his whiskey glass. Dreamt about you for weeks. When I want something, Evan, I take it. I gripped the armrest. There are thousands like me back home. You're just, don't. His glass shattered on the marble floor. After graduation, I stayed away to lick my pride. But when I heard you left New York, His laugh turned jagged. Flew to your podunk town immediately. Saw dozens of wide-eyed country boys at the bus station. None made my pulse race. None but you. You came? 3 days after you left the city. His jaw muscle jumped. Saw you cozying up with that neighbor, hands all over each other. Realization dawned. When my father stole my savings, Ms. Carter tried giving me her emergency fund. We were arguing about, save it. Justin's smile didn't reach his eyes. You think I'd approach you without due diligence? If there'd been anything between you two. His fingers brushed my wedding band. This wouldn't be here. The unspoken truth hung heavy. He'd investigated every aspect of my life. My chest tightened. Then why the jealousy act? Jealous? He scoffed, pouring fresh bourbon. Merely verifying you'd cut all ties before accepting my proposal. Though, amber liquid swirled as he leaned closer. Watching you defend her honor was enlightening. His lips hovered a breath from mine. Turns out Evan protects what's his. How fascinating. Perhaps my expression was too disdainful. Justin gritted his teeth. Then why were you casually holding that girl's hand? I felt irritation rising. I wasn't casually holding anyone's hand. Why are you spreading rumors? I was returning the money she stuffed into my pocket. An unusual flush of embarrassment crossed Justin's face. Oh, that's different. I didn't know why I was arguing about this, but hearing him misunderstand my relationship with someone else made my chest tighten uncomfortably. The strange sensation lingered as we drove back. Justin received a message during the ride. The sender's profile showed his executive assistant. Though I couldn't read the content, Justin's demeanor shifted instantly. His knuckles whitened around the phone. Back at the mansion, he didn't retreat to his office but sat silently in the living room, eyes tracking my every movement. Something wrong? I finally snapped under his intense scrutiny. He hesitated, conflict flashing across his features. The unspoken tension made my skin prickle. Just ask already. Why? Justin swallowed hard. Why do you hate men so much, Evan? My breath caught. Not why do you hate me, or why do you hate gay people? He'd zeroed in on the raw nerve. You noticed? My voice came out strangled. Li Qing texted me. Justin's gaze remained steady, devoid of judgment. He studied psychology. Said you showed signs of aversion. When I didn't respond, he softened his tone. Will you tell me what happened? Irritation flared. Rich boy like you could hire investigators. Couldn't you? The moment the words left my mouth, I regretted them. Justin's face shuddered. I braced for anger, for termination of our contract. Evan. His quiet interruption startled me. If you're not ready, I won't push. Shame flooded me. Middle school memories. The festering wound I'd never let heal, clawed at my throat. I overreacted. Sorry. Justin moved to sit beside me, handkerchief blotting the cold sweat on my forehead. My fault for prying. We never spoke of it again. Until the charity gala. Brian lounged in a sheer shirt on some oil tycoon's lap across the ballroom. My vision tunneled. 12 years vanished. I was 14 again, trembling as hands ripped my textbooks, laughter echoing while teachers looked away. The man met my stare with venomous recognition, lips curling. I shot through my veins. Evan? Justin's arm encircled my shoulders, grounding me. You're pale. Do you need restroom? I fled before he finished. The marble sink chilled my palms as dry heaves racked me. Leather shoes clicked behind me. Look who's playing Cinderella now. Brian's sneer dripped with envy. Think you're better than me, whoring yourself to the Taylor heir. It's been so long, and you've managed to cozy up to the Taylor family heir. Impressive. My legs trembled too much to stand, but I tilted my head back with a scoff. Still not as impressive as you. At least I'd never sink low enough to touch trash like you. His face twisted. Brian lunged forward, yanking my hair until my scalp burned. We're both whores here. What makes you think you're better than me? The retort had drained my last strength. I hung limp in his grip, too exhausted to fight. Emboldened by my silence, Brian raised his hand, sneering. What gives you the right to look down on me? You pathetic sissy. I braced for the slap. Instead, Brian screamed. My eyes flew open to see Justin bending Brian's wrist at a grotesque angle. The heir's voice could have frozen hell itself. Explain. Now. Please. Mr. Taylor. I'm sorry. Brian's sweat dripped onto the carpet as Justin twisted harder. When Justin's gaze found my tear-streaked face, his icy composure shattered. He flung Brian aside like garbage, rushing to cradle me. Evan. God. I'm too late. Are you hurt? Talk to me. Sweetheart. Please. Sobs wrecked my throat. Justin's frantic hands checked me for injuries before sweeping me into his arms. He paused at the door, glaring at Brian writhing on the floor. Clean this up properly, he told the manager, who bowed repeatedly. Brian's shriek followed us out. Only in the car did I calm enough to notice Justin's ruined dress shirt. I'll pay for the dry cleaning, I mumbled against his chest. And, thank you. Instead of answering, Justin gently wiped my face with his monogrammed handkerchief. When every tear was gone, he whispered, You still won't tell me what happened back there? His thumb brushed my cheekbone. You terrified me today. But if you're not ready, the dam broke. In middle school, I choked out. Brian and his gang called me sissy, poured ink on my chair, said it was my period, ripped my pants in the courtyard. 3 years. Nobody helped. Justin's jaw muscle jumped. Tears tracked down his own face as I described the cafeteria spitballs, the locker room beatings, the nights scrubbing semen stains from my backpack. Evan. He cupped my face, fury and heartbreak warring in his eyes. I swear on the Taylor name, every one of them will pay. That night marked changes. Justin moved me back to the guest suite. Still cooked my meals. Still gave me stupidly expensive gifts. But now his hands lingered 6 inches from mine. Earlier, he jerked away like I'd burned him when passing the salt. The hell? First he acts obsessed. Now he treats me like contaminated glass? Was I too damaged now that he knew about the spit and semen? Screw him. I chucked a pillow at the walk-in closet where Justin slept since accidentally brushing hands last week. Typical rich bastard, all performative chivalry until reality gets messy. The thump brought Justin running. Hair sleep must. Nightmare? Just practicing my fastball. I glared. Care to explain why you've gone full monk mode? His throat bobbed. After what you endured, I won't become another man forcing himself on you. The confession hung between us. Moonlight caught the tremor in his hands. The same hands that broke Brian's wrist without hesitation, now clenched to avoid reaching for me. My anger dissolved. Something warm and terrifying unfurled in my chest as I studied his tortured expression. Oh, for God's sake. I grabbed his collar, yanking him onto the bed. You're not them. Now either kiss me properly or get out. His lips met mine with a desperate whimper. What the hell? You think I care about your opinion? Fine. Maybe I do care a little. That's exactly why I'm sitting by Justin's bedside at midnight, fuming so hard I can't sleep, glaring at him resentfully, sensing the murderous aura. Justin jolted awake, slapping his chest dramatically as he turned on the lamp. Can't sleep? I snapped irritably, just passing through, and stood to leave. Justin grabbed my sleeve, brows furrowed. Talk to me. Something's wrong. Oh, he's so observant? Then why can't he figure out why I'm pissed? I seethed silently, yanking my arm back. Lately he'd spoiled me into entitlement. I marched toward the door without another word. Screw this. If he's clueless, I'll haunt his nights every damn day. My hand barely touched the doorknob when Justin pinned me against the doorframe, palm flat against the wood. Evan. His sigh warmed my neck. Tell me what's wrong. Nothing. Tired. I pressed my forehead to the cool door. He didn't budge. You're angry. Justin spun me around, gripping my chin with uncharacteristic force. Why the silent treatment? I said I'm tired. That's not what I asked. His laugh held no humor. Why were you looming over me like a vengeful ghost? Passing through. I ground out. Justin studied me, expression shifting through disbelief and concern. After an eternity, he deadpanned. Do I look mentally challenged to you? I bit my lip. Pathetic excuse. Evan. He caged me in. No answers. No sleep for either of us. Fury exploded. How dare he play the victim after what he did? I whirled around, shouting, "Just say it if I disgust you. I don't need your pity." But did you have to recoil like I'm contaminated? Getting bullied wasn't my fault. If you want me gone, say the word. I'll vanish. My voice cracked, tears burning. I stared at the ceiling, refusing to cry. Justin froze. I misunderstood. His apology rushed out. "I thought you needed space to adjust to physical contact. I didn't know about the trauma. I've been holding back, planning to let you leave after a year." My breath hitched. "You'd really let me go?" "Yes." His voice scraped raw. "Evan?" "Justin." The air thickened with everything unsaid. His thumb brushed my cheekbone, catching the tear I'd failed to contain. Our foreheads touched, his next words barely audible. "But I'm selfish enough to hope you'll choose to stay." The confession hung between us, fragile as the heartbeat thundering against my palm pressed to his chest. Dawn crept through the blinds, etching gold along the tension in his jaw. Somewhere downstairs, the grandfather clock chimed 4. I closed the distance. I said coolly, "You're such a dumbass." Justin looked up with an incredulous expression. I almost laughed but remembered I was supposed to be angry. Stiffening my face, I demanded, "If I said I wanted to leave right now, would you let me?" He remained silent for a long moment before replying, "It's too late tonight. I'll drive you home tomorrow." Frustrated, I headbutt his chest and mumbled, "You're denser than I am. Can't you tell I've fallen for you?" His entire body froze. After what felt like ages, he asked hoarsely, "Evan, are you serious?" My face burned crimson as I buried it deeper into his shirt. Muttering, "Yes," I added hastily, "But could we take it slow? Physical contact might still be difficult for me." Justin crushed me in a bear hug, his voice cracking with emotion. "Of course, however long you need." Being official turned out annoying. He kept summoning me to his office during work hours, pinching my cheeks, playing with my fingers, acting like some touch-starved demon. "Aren't you overdoing it, Justin?" I complained while he signed documents one-handed, his other arm welded around my waist. "Relax. It's practically quitting time." He murmured against my neck. "No need to pretend we're strangers. We'd agreed to keep things discreet at the office. Yet he'd been calling me over 800 times daily. Might as well hire a skywriter." His lips captured mine mid-protest. Through persistent practice, I'd grown accustomed to kissing. But awakening this wolf's appetite came with consequences. Justin pressed me against the desk, the kiss turning urgent. My fingers twisted in my crumpled blouse as I gasped, "Justin!" He froze, scanning my face for discomfort before carefully rebut-toning my shirt. Resting his forehead on my shoulder, he rasped, "Evan, tonight?" This routine repeated whenever his self-control snapped. He'd never push further than I allowed, resorting to cold showers with pathetic puppy eyes. "Maybe we could try?" I ventured. His eyes lit up like Christmas morning. That evening found us grocery shopping, because apparently even hormonal emergencies required meal prep. "Are you seriously cooking tonight?" I blurted. Given his office behavior, I'd assumed we'd race home. Justin smirked, tossing organic veggies into the cart. "Even starving men need sustenance. Don't worry, I'm hurrying." After dinner, he disappeared into the shower while I queued up educational videos, wincing through awkward animations. "Since when do you watch cartoons?" he teased, toweling his hair. I straightened my pajamas with dignity. "Got problem with animation? Not illegal last I checked." Sauntering past his amused gaze, I grabbed my toiletries and slipped into the bathroom. The mirror reflected my tomato-red face. Deep breaths. When I emerged, Justin waited patiently, the living embodiment of good things come to those who wait. Justin was propped up against the headboard when I entered the room, the packaging from our earlier activities already discarded. He gently pressed me into the mattress, his voice husky with affection. "Tell me if you want to stop at any time." I nodded, his lips claiming mine before I could breathe. When I awoke hours later, the bed held only his lingering warmth. I found him murmuring into his phone near the bay window. "I'll confirm the schedule with him then." The moment our eyes met, Justin ended the call and pulled me onto his lap. His hands kneaded the soreness from my lower back as he casually announced, "My parents want to discuss wedding arrangements with us this weekend." How did they agree before I even proved myself? I blurted out. His laughter vibrated against my shoulder. "I've been their golden child for 28 years. If you feel indebted," his teeth grazed my collarbone, "you know how to make it up to me. You've been stalking my apartment complex for months like some obsessed dash." "My wish jar," I interrupted, squirming from his grasp. "What's inside?" Justin's fingers stilled on my shirt buttons. With deliberate slowness, he produced a glass bottle from the nightstand. My face burned reading the scrap of paper. "Marry Evan. Kiss him daily. Trace every curve of his waist. Then take Evan to dash." The explicit continuation made me choke. "Dreams do come true." Justin purred against my ear, his tongue flicking the sensitive cartilage. "Now about my fantasies involving that black lace dash. Negotiations pending." I shoved the incriminating evidence back at him. In one fluid motion, Justin pinned me to the antique writing desk. The predatory gleam in his eyes sent heat pooling low in my stomach. "We are not postponing our wedding, sweetheart. No delays," I squeaked, recognizing that particular glint. "Immediate marriage sounds perfect." True to his word, Justin had me on a private jet to Switzerland by nightfall. Our storybook wedding unfolded 4 weeks later beneath the Tuscan sun. Every detail meticulously orchestrated by my husband, though the honeymoon suite's destroyed canopy bed proved some plans are better left spontaneous.